Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anita Anand with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked scientists to make extra efforts to inform public in simple language about COVID-19 vaccine and related matters. Country's COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 93.81%. Home Minister Amit Shah says COVID-19 pandemic time was utilized in making major policy decisions and latest GDP figures show encouraging results. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take part in world-famous Dev Deepavali festival in Varanasi this evening. Guru Nanak Jayanti being celebrated today across the country and abroad. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet the people on the occasion. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today held virtual meetings with 3 teams working on developing and manufacturing a COVID-19 vaccine. These teams were from Genova Biopharmaceuticals Limited, Pune, Biological E Limited, Hyderabad, and Dr. Reddy's Laboratories Limited, Hyderabad. Mr. Modi appreciated the efforts being made by the scientists in these companies to come out with a vaccine solution to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic. The potential of various platforms for vaccine development was also discussed. He also asked the companies to come out with their suggestions and ideas regarding the regulatory processes and related matters. He also suggested that they should make extra efforts to inform the general public in simple language about the vaccine and related matters such as its efficacy, etc. Matters relating to logistics, transport and cold chain in respect of delivering the vaccines were also discussed. All the vaccine candidates discussed are at different stages of trials and detailed data and results are expected early next year onwards. The Prime Minister advised all the departments concerned to engage with the manufacturers and seek to resolve matters so that the efforts by these companies bear fruit in order to serve the needs of the country and the entire world. The Prime Minister undertook a 3-city tour recently to conduct an extensive review of the vaccine development and manufacturing process. He visited the Zydus Biotech Park in Ahmedabad, Bharat Biotech in Hyderabad, and Serum Institute of India in Pune. 2 of these sites are indigenously developing COVID-19 vaccines, and one of these sites is capable of manufacturing crores of doses of vaccines to save the world. A report.
Prime Minister Modi told the scientists that he chose to meet them face-to-face in order to boost their morale and help accelerate their efforts at this critical juncture in the vaccine development journey. He stressed that India considers vaccines as not only vital to good health but also as a global good. India has become the pharmacy of the world in its fight against the pandemic. The country is not only leading the world in research for vaccines but will also be crucial for the world's vaccine production. Next month, ambassadors of 100 countries are scheduled to visit Pune to visit Serum Institute of India and Genova Biopharmaceuticals Limited. With Dipendra Kumar, Suparna Saikya, AIR News, Delhi.
The country's COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 93.81% as a total of 45,333 patients have recovered during the last 24 hours. According to Health Ministry, the total number of recoveries has gone up to over 88 lakhs and 47,000. The actual caseload currently comprises only 4.74% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is 4,46,952. During the past 24 hours, 38,772 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases to over 94,31,000. The ministry said that effective implementation of the strategic and graded test, track and treat approach has led to higher recoveries and lower fatality. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.45%, which is one of the lowest globally. During the last 24 hours, 443 deaths were reported, taking the toll to 1,37,139. According to the Indian Council of Medical Research, over 876,000 tests were conducted during the last 24 hours. The total number of samples tested so far has gone up to over 14 crores and 3 lakhs. In Assam, hostels will be reopened in a limited manner from the 15th of December in the state. Health and Education Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said that students of the final year will be allowed in hostels from the 15th of next month. Our correspondent reports that classes from 7th standard onwards have already started following all COVID-19 protocols.
Education Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said that elementary schools up to class 6 will be reopened on 1st of January in Assam. He said that SOP for reopening of hostels and classes for nursery to 6th standard will be issued by the Education Department. The minister said that COVID tests will be conducted before reopening of hostels and schools. Mr. Sarma further mentioned that number of COVID cases are declining in the state. However, he urged all to remain vigilant. The minister said that opening of hostels for other students will be decided later after observing the situation. Classes from 7th standard onwards have already been started in the state with all COVID-19 protocols. Manas Pratim Sharma, AR News, Guwahati.
In Tripura, 31,707 people infected with coronavirus have been cured and the recovery rate has improved to 97.11%. The state registered 33 new cases in the past 24 hours and 75 patients were discharged from hospitals yesterday. As of today, the tally rose to 32,674. Presently, the active cases have also dropped to 574. In Mizoram, 3 fresh cases of coronavirus infections were detected and 15 patients have recovered in the past 24 hours. With this, the total number of COVID-19 positive cases rose to 3,826. The recovery rate has further improved to 89.98%. According to the State Medical Bulletin, 3,440 people have recovered and the number of active cases presently stands at 381. In Delhi, a total of 4,906 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 5,66,000. The Delhi government has said that over 5,22,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 6,325 people recovered and 68 deaths were reported in the city, taking the toll to 9,066. Presently, the total number of active cases in the national capital is 35,091. Meanwhile, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has directed that the rates of RT-PCR tests should be reduced in Delhi. In a tweet, Mr. Kejriwal said this will help those who get their tests done in private labs. He added that tests are being conducted free of cost in government establishments.
Telangana state reported 593 fresh COVID cases during the past 24 hours. With this, the total number of COVID cases reported in the state has gone up to 2,69,816. The state conducted over 33,000 tests yesterday. The recovery rate marginally improved to 95.74%, with 1,058 more people recovering yesterday. This took the number of recovered people so far in the state to 2,58,336. The Tamil Nadu government has extended the lockdown till the 31st of December with a slew of further relaxations. The move comes in the wake of the current phase of the unlock necessitated by the COVID-19 pandemic drawing to a close tonight. More from our correspondent.
The new phase of the unlock comes into force from tomorrow. It envisages reopening of all colleges on the 7th December for the final year undergraduate classes. For the medical colleges, all the classes would begin on the day. However, the announcement made by the state chief minister is silent on the reopening of schools. The iconic Marina Beach in Chennai and all other beaches would be accessible for tourists and visitors from the 14th December. Religious, socio and political events in indoor stadia will be admissible in December this year with the maximum of 50% of the seat occupancy and a ceiling of 200 people at a time with due permission from the district officials. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
Archer Kapil has tested positive for coronavirus. He is part of the National Archery Camp underway at Army Sports Institute, Pune. Youth Affairs and Sports Ministry said Kapil is asymptomatic and being monitored by a medical team. He was on 18 days leave and was tested on arrival upon rejoining the camp as per the standard SOP established by Sports Authority of India.
In Madhya Pradesh, strict steps are being taken by the administration in view of the increasing cases of corona infection in many cities, including Bhopal and Indore. For the past several days, more than 500 new cases have been reported in Indore and more than 300 cases in Bhopal. The number of active cases in Madhya Pradesh has increased to around 15,000. A report from our Bhopal correspondent.
To stop the spread of corona infection in Bhopal, the Roko Toko campaign has been started by the NSS and social organizations on the instructions of the administration. Under this campaign, people are being advised to wear masks through the characters of Yamraj and Chitragupt, along with the distribution of masks free of cost by the organizations. Collector Avinash Lavania has given the instructions to implement the Roko Toko campaign effectively in the entire district. The Roko Toko campaign is advising people to wear masks, not to go to crowded places and not to leave home without reason to avoid corona infections. Fines are also being imposed on those who do not follow the rules. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Talking to AIR, Dr. Neeraj Gupta of Vardhaman Mahavir Medical College and Safdarjung Hospital said that precautions are important while attending marriage ceremonies.
इसमें डेफिनेटली शेयरिंग इज नॉट केयरिंग. इसमें खतरा होता है क्योंकि ये उसी प्रकार का खतरा है जैसे कि आप अपना मास्क किसी और व्यक्ति को दे दें. सपोज आपने तौलिया यूज किया है, आपने उसकी इस्तेमाल की हुई कोई चीज उसके संपर्क में आप आ जाते हैं, या एक ही रजाई बिस्तरे में जहां अभी वो बैठे थे आप अंदर बैठ जाते हैं, तो चांस है कि आपको संक्रमण हो सकता है.
Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan distributed masks and soaps at the Old Delhi railway station today. Emphasizing on the importance of wearing masks and washing of hands, Dr. Vardhan said the most important principle is to follow basic principles of hygiene and physical distancing. He said mask and sanitizer are the biggest weapon in the fight against COVID.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had anticipated the adverse impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the economy and utilized this difficult time in making decisions of policy making. Virtually inaugurating 2 flyovers in Ahmedabad, Mr. Shah said that government has taken a series of long-term policy decisions, whether it is in farm sector, electricity or tax reforms. He said that latest GDP figures are encouraging and hopefully it will be in positive territory in the coming days. Union Home Minister said that Gujarat has already achieved the electricity consumption and GST collection of pre-COVID levels. He said that Gujarat is also leading the country in getting the highest GDP numbers despite COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Shah said that the work of connecting all means of transportation has begun under the able leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He said that he was happy that the Chief Minister Vijay Rupani and Deputy Chief Minister Nitin Patel are taking these works forward in Gujarat. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked scientists to make extra efforts to inform public in simple language about COVID-19 vaccine and related matters. Country's COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 93.81%. Home Minister Amit Shah says COVID-19 pandemic was utilized in making major policy decisions and latest GDP figures show encouraging results. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take part in world-famous Dev Deepavali festival in Varanasi this evening. Guru Nanak Jayanti being celebrated today across the country and abroad. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet the people on the occasion. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
To get accurate, reliable and wide coverage of news, tune into AIR News 24/7 and FM Gold and listen to the major bulletins at 8:30 AM, 2 PM and 8:30 PM in English and 8 AM, 2:30 PM and 8 PM in Hindi of half an hour each.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते
Welcome back. Agriculture market reforms brought about by the NDA government in September this year are aimed at bringing about transformational change in the lives of farmers, eliminating middlemen who pocketed most of the farmers' productive incomes and ending the monopoly of buyers' cartels in the mandis were the key objective behind the reforms. The farmers have been given the freedom to sell their produce wherever they can get a better price. They can even sell their produce at the farm gate, factory premises, warehouses, silos or cold storages where their grains and other produce were stored. These agriculture market reforms are a culmination of a clutch of measures taken by the centre in the last 6 years to double farmers' income. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar has asked people to not harbour misunderstandings regarding the recent agriculture reforms. In a tweet, Mr. Javadekar said farmers in Punjab have sold more rice than last year in the market and at a higher MSP. He said MSP is still in place, mandis are alive and government procurement is also happening. The opposition parties in Tamil Nadu, led by the DMK, have demanded talks with the agitating farmers in Delhi. In a joint statement, the leaders of the DMK, the TNCC, the left and several other parties have said talks should be held unconditionally. They have also demanded the rollback of the 3 Farm Acts passed recently, saying they are against the interest of the farmers.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is reaching his parliamentary constituency Varanasi today and take part in the world-famous Dev Deepavali festival in the evening. During his day-long visit, the Prime Minister will take part in many functions. In a short while from now, the Prime Minister will dedicate to the nation the 6-lane widening project of the Madhya Pradesh and Rajtala Varanasi section of National Highway 19. The 73-kilometer stretch of the newly widened and 6-laned NH19, made with a total outlay of 2,447 crore rupees, is expected to reduce the travel time between Prayagraj and Varanasi by 1 hour. He will address a gathering also. During the tour, the Prime Minister will undertake a site visit of Kashi Vishwanath Temple Corridor Project and also visit the Sarnath Archaeological Site. More from our Uttar Pradesh correspondent.
Dev Deepavali, which has become a world-famous festival of light and fervor in Varanasi, is celebrated on every Purnima of the Kartik month. The festival will be started by the Prime Minister by lighting a diya on the Raj Ghat of Varanasi, which will be followed by lighting of more than 15 lakh diyas on various ghats on both sides of River Ganga. Many cultural troops will perform on the ghats to welcome the Prime Minister, who will also address a small gathering there. Prior to this, Prime Minister will undertake a site visit to the under-construction Kashi Vishwanath Temple Corridor project to review its progress. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Varanasi.
Guru Nanak Jayanti or Gurpurab is being celebrated with religious fervour across India and the world today. It marks the birth of the first Sikh Guru, Guru Nanak, who laid the foundation of Sikhism. This year marks the 551st birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev. On this day, devotees around the world offer prayers. The Golden Temple in Amritsar celebrates Gurpurab with much aplomb. President Ramnath Kovind and Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu have greeted people on the occasion. In his message, Mr. Kovind has said that the life and teachings of Guru Nanak Dev are an inspiration for all human beings. He showed people the path of unity, harmony, fraternity, comity and service, and gave an economic philosophy to realize a lifestyle based on hard work, honesty and self-respect. The President said that Guru Nanak Dev gave the basic mantra of Ek Onkar to his followers and insisted on treating all human beings equally without discriminating on the basis of caste, creed and gender. Mr. Kovind said that his message of Naam Japo, Kirat Karo and Vand Chako contains the essence of all his teachings. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has greeted the nation on the occasion of Guru Nanak Jayanti. In his message, Mr. Naidu said that the founder of Sikhism, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, has remained an icon of truth, compassion and righteousness through his noble life. He has a unique place among the spiritual leaders, preceptors, reformers and saints of India. Mr. Naidu said his teachings have universal appeal and would forever inspire us to follow the path of compassion and humility and to show respect for all humankind, irrespective of caste, creed or religion. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted the people on the occasion. In his Man Ki Baat program, Mr. Modi said he is deeply inspired by the noble ideals of Guru Nanak Dev. Prime Minister Modi said the world over, the influence of Guru Nanak Dev Ji is distinctly visible.
ये गुरु नानक देव जी ही थे जिन्होंने लंगर की परंपरा शुरू की थी और हमने देखा कि दुनिया भर में सिख समुदाय ने किस प्रकार कोरोना के इस समय में लोगों को खाना खिलाने की अपनी परंपरा को जारी रखा है। मानवता की सेवा की ये परंपरा हम सभी के लिए निरंतर प्रेरणा का काम करती है। मेरी कामना है हम सभी सेवक की तरह काम करते रहें। एक बार फिर गुरु नानक जयंती पर मेरी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं।
Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amrinder Singh today greeted everyone on the occasion of 551st Prakash Parv of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji before leaving for Sultanpur Lodi and Dera Baba Nanak to participate in the festivities. On reaching Sultanpur Lodi, he led the Sangat in paying obeisance at historic Gurdwara Sri Bear Sahib. He also laid the foundation stones of various development projects in the town associated with Baba Nanak. Later, the Chief Minister paid a visit to Dera Baba Nanak, where he paid respects at Gurdwara Sri Darbar Sahib and launched various development projects for the town.
In Telangana, elaborate arrangements have been made for tomorrow's polling for Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. Over 74,67,000 electors comprising of over 38.89 lakh men and over 35.76 lakh women voters are likely to exercise their franchise at 9,101 polling stations. State Election Commissioner C. Parthasarthi informed that all arrangements are in place. The polling will be held through ballot paper in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow. Electors can show their APEC card to cast their vote or slips distributed by the authorities or any one of the 18 listed photo identity cards. Our Hyderabad correspondent says that there are a total of 1,122 candidates in the fray for 150 Division Municipal Corporation. A report.
Amidst tight security arrangements, the State Election Commission authorities have made all arrangements for a free and fair poll tomorrow. Over 52,000 police forces have been deployed near and around 9,101 polling stations, out of which more than half of them were identified as sensitive or hypersensitive. Over 48,000 polling staff have been put on duty and they all will be reaching the concerned polling station this evening. Considering the COVID pandemic, 120,000 COVID-19 kits have been distributed at a rate of 10 to each polling station and 60,000 sanitizer bottles have been put for use at the polling stations. Special arrangements have been made for the aged electors who are above 80 years of age, differently abled and mothers with small children and those who are COVID positive. The COVID positive electors will be allowed to exercise their franchise during the last hour of the polling. Lakshmi, AIR News, Hyderabad.
The Karnataka State Election Commission has announced elections for 5,762 Gram Panchayats today. The Commissioner of the State Election Commission, Dr. B. Basavaraj, informed media persons in Bengaluru today that the elections will be held in two phases. The first phase of the election will be held on December 22nd for 2,930 Gram Panchayats in 113 taluks, and the second phase elections will be held on December 27th in 2,832 Gram Panchayats in 113 taluks. The counting of votes will be held for both the phases on 30th of December.
In Kerala, fishing has been banned along the coast from midnight tonight as the Met Department predicts heavy rain and strong winds in the state from tomorrow on account of low pressure formed over the Bay of Bengal.
As sea is expected to be rough with high waves, fishermen who are out in the sea are directed to reach the nearest coast at the earliest. The Kerala State Disaster Management Authority is presently taking stock of the situation in a high-level meeting headed by the Chief Secretary. The Departments of Revenue and Local Self-Government have been directed to make arrangements to face any adverse situation. Southern regions, mainly the coastal and low-lying regions of Thiruvananthapuram, Kollam, Idukki and Pathanamthitta districts are in high alert. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
Senior BJP leader and MLA from Rajsamand in Rajasthan, Kiran Maheshwari, died last night at a hospital in Gurgaon. She was 59 and tested positive for coronavirus. Kiran Maheshwari, a three-time MLA from Rajsamand, was undergoing treatment at Medanta Hospital for the past few days. She had served previously as a Member of Parliament in the 14th Lok Sabha, where she represented the Udaipur constituency. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, Assembly Speaker C.P. Joshi, BJP State President Satish Punia and other leaders have condoled her demise. In his message, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed pain at the demise of Rajasthan BJP MLA Kiran Maheshwari. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, be it as an MP, MLA or Cabinet Minister in the Rajasthan government, Kiran Maheshwari made numerous efforts to work towards the progress of the state and empower the poor as well as the marginalized. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar has also expressed grief at the demise of former National President of BJP Mahila Morcha Kiran Maheshwari. In a tweet, Mr. Javadekar extended his condolences to the bereaved family.
India will host Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO Council of Heads of Government meeting in a virtual format today. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will chair the meeting. In a statement, External Affairs Ministry said it will be the first time that a summit-level meeting will be held under India's chairmanship since it gained full membership of the organization in 2017. This summit is held annually at the level of Prime Ministers of SCO and deals primarily with the trade and economic agenda of the organization. India assumed the chairmanship of the SCO Council of Heads of Government on 2nd of November last year as per rotation from the previous chair, Uzbekistan, and will complete its year-long tenure on 30th of this month. The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight, will bring you a special discussion program on COVID-19. Dr. Lieutenant General Ved Chaturvedi, rheumatologist, Sir Gangaram Hospital, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767 and on the telephone number 011-2331-4444. You can post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard on FM Gold Channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. Jammu witnessed a minimum temperature of 10 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 25 degrees. The city will have a mainly clear sky. Srinagar will also have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between -1 degree Celsius and 12 degrees. In Leh, there will be partly cloudy sky, becoming generally cloudy towards evening or night. The temperature will vary between -4 degrees Celsius and 5 degrees. Gilgit will have a partly cloudy sky with temperature varying between -3 degrees Celsius to 14 degrees. Muzaffarabad is likely to have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards evening, and temperature will move between 4 to 20 degrees. The national capital will have a mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was recorded at 7 degrees Celsius. Maximum will be around 26 degrees. Mumbai will observe a partly cloudy sky and temperature will vary between 23 and 34 degrees. Chennai will have a generally cloudy sky with temperature hovering between 23 and 31 degrees. Kolkata is likely to have a mainly clear sky and temperature will vary between 16 and 28 degrees. Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 9 and 25 degrees. The sky will be mainly clear. Chandigarh will have a mainly clear sky. Temperature in the city will hover between 9 and 24 degrees. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked scientists to make extra efforts to inform public in simple language about COVID-19 vaccine and related matters. Country's COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 93.81%. Home Minister Amit Shah says COVID-19 pandemic time was utilized in making major policy decisions and latest GDP figures show encouraging results. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take part in world-famous Dev Deepavali festival in Varanasi this evening. And Guru Nanak Jayanti being celebrated today across the country and abroad. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet the people on the occasion. And with that we end the midday news.